So yeah, this past weekend, uh, basically the week before Memorial Day weekend, there were 45 people who were shot in Chicago over the weekend from Friday to Sunday. One of those people were fatally injured. So definitely send my condolences. But just really trying to talk about the violence that kind of has been plaguing the city, since I could remember, you know. Just really saying I feel I have been very critical about these issues as well as trying to lend my expertise to like help out. And I keep getting, unanswered calls and no response, but the reality of it is, like I said before, it's a all hands on deck effort, like when you think about, you know, the DNC coming here, like it seems like they have strategies in place. Uh, they somewhat have a strategy in place for, the violence, but as I said, like, it seems like every weekend, if not like every day, you're seeing something, you know, different, from the smash and grabs to just overnight robberies and, like, I don't know, like what's really being done to resolve the root issue of all of this, Like people get into it all the time. So that's that's not really what I'm talking about because, like I said, some of the violence, we don't know what it was, and but like I said, some people, have issues that can only be dealt with, in that matter, But if there were, violence intervention programs like readily available, like I'm not talking about just like during office hours, like problems don't tend to just like happen when there's like staff on board, like, like things kind of kick off like whenever they kick off, so you always have to stay ready so you don't have to get ready, So yeah, I'm just saying like when you think about just week in and week out, day in and day out, you hear all of this and all of that, like you have the media who's basically just, relaying stories, like at some point, when is it going to, click to be like, oh, can we help with some of this stuff, Like, yeah, people can report on these issues, but the reality is most of these companies and organizations are in like better positions than like you and I, and they have corporate social responsibility statements. And most of them, especially in the current climate that we have been in, most of them always talk about addressing, these issues, and me being a person that is like on the front lines, like actually trying to do the work, uh, I find it very hard and discouraging to, just see like ideas shot down and, less collaboration, like, yeah, like we need more collaboration with these major corporations. This is the number one corporate relocation city, of Chicago. So it would seem, that some of these corporations would, think about the communities that, they are ideally affecting because they're not, stepping up to the plate. That's really the reality, like we can't rely on the government, the police, and all of this and that. We can't necessarily rely on you all. We can't rely on celebrities, so we the people try to take a stance, but it's like we have to collectively have some type of leverage, and that's kind of where issues come into play because most people aren't at the same place in their lives. Some people have like real life day to day problems that they have to tend to. And, stuff like this isn't like on their radar, but the reality is it's an all hands on deck effort because it doesn't really affect you until it affects you. And then now you've joined the club and now you feel the pain of everyone else, you know? Like I make these videos and like actually try to talk to my people as well as enlighten some people who may or may not know about these issues. But it's like every week someone uh, in Chicago like gets shot, and it's like a report where they're kind of like, giving a recap. So it's like, at what point are we going to, like call for a ceasefire? Like you could call for a ceasefire in a country that's like, you know, not ours, but we can't like take a stance to like stop violence in our own community, you know? Like I see people do it, but that's not necessarily amplified. Like you may hear a small brief story about it. So I just feel we need to like address some of these issues head on, and it's more of a all hands on deck effort with the community, the police department, as well as the corporations. Yeah, like we have to hold everyone accountable. Celebrities. I mean, come on, like I won't even get into like the music and the stuff that they just let people say like recklessly, and wonder why, people are out here like misguided and kind of just do whatever, but not to say that that's the main problem, but it's like it's been historic, you know, disinvestment and historic just levels of trauma that people have been dealing with, and that's kind of the reality, for real. Like, what are you doing to help these people who are in these conditions, Yeah.